Welcome back to Advocacy Alchemy with Professor Ross. I am Professor Ross, and as you can see, we are going to watch a video here. I like this one. I saw this earlier this morning, and it's not a new video, but it is interesting. Well, actually, it is fairly new. It's from one day ago. This sheriff is going to lay out a case perfectly for the prosecutor. All we have to do is take up exactly what he said and present it to a jury, and it's a win. All right, this is from Florida. This is from Polk County. I think that's where Tampa is. Let me see. Yeah. Well, I'm not sure. We'll look it up. We can look up where Polk County, Florida is and what the county seat is. Let's start there. All right. Remember, we're using this search engine as a part of our advanced legal research. It says Polk County is in the central part of Florida. Let's see. Largest city is Lakeland. Oh man. Well, no. I thought I knew Lakeland, but no. All right. I'm thinking about Parkland, Florida, from years ago. All right. Let's jump right in, and we're going to hear. This is about someone who was this is about an attorney that was arrested for stealing money from his clients. This is always a huge issue, and one that has to be rectified and dealt with as soon as any state finds out about it, because attorneys are tasked with being trustworthy. All right, and when one is not trustworthy, you have some large issues you're going to have to deal with. Okay, let's hear about this attorney out of Polk County, Florida, and what happened. All right, this is going to deal with an attorney who is taking money from his clients' trust accounts. All right, let's listen. And as always, we'll pause and we'll talk about the information that is being presented as we go.
But I can tell you on July the 25th and then on July the 29th, we received the first two complaints about an attorney. This attorney lives in Winter Haven. However, he has a law firm with 3 offices, appropriately named Family and Elder Law Firm. And this is the attorney. His name is Jason Penrod. He's 47 years of age.
All right, let's see what we can find about, let's see, Winter Haven. Let's take it back just
3 offices, appropriately named Family and Elder Law Firm.
All right. So here we pulled up what the search engine has on this information so far. So it says, in recent news, a significant development has occurred involving a family and elder law firm in Polk County, Florida. The firm, Family Elder Law, has been at the center of a scandal involving its owner, Jason Penrod. Penrod was arrested for allegedly stealing nearly $2 million from clients' trust fund and gambling away the funds. The incident has led to the abrupt closure of the firm, leaving many clients and employees in a state of uncertainty. All right. Penrod admitted to the misappropriation of funds, which has resulted in a lawsuit filed against him by the surviving children of the client whose trust fund was affected. The lawsuit accuses Penrod of conversion, civil theft, and breach of trust. The closure of family elder law has left clients frustrated and seeking answers, with the firm providing limited resources to assist them in finding alternative legal representation. All right, we hear about several different actions that are being brought. You have conversion. Conversion means to steal. All right, conversion. All right, understanding conversion. All right, in Florida, conversion is a legal term that refers to the wrongful exercise of dominion and control over another's property, assets, or money. All right, to the detriment of the actual owner. It says this can include actions such as theft, misappropriation, or unauthorized use of someone else's property. The key elements of conversion in Florida, all right, ownership or right to possession. The plaintiff must demonstrate that they have ownership or a right to possess the property in question. Number two, you must show an unauthorized act. The defendant must have committed an unauthorized act to deprive the plaintiff of their property. Number three, demand for the return. The plaintiff must have a demand for the return of the property, and the defendant must refuse or fail to comply. Now, there's the statute of limitations here. Let's see. The statute of limitations for conversion is 4 years in the state of Florida, and this is outlined by Section 95.11 of the Florida statutes. All right. Let's go back up and see what other charges they have against him. I thought I saw civil theft. All right, let's see how that's defined. Understanding civil theft in Florida. I didn't want to do that. I took away all my other stuff. All right, civil theft. All right, civil theft in Florida includes a private lawsuit where the victim seeks financial compensation for the theft of property. This is different than criminal theft. It involves prosecution by the state and can result in penalties such as jail time. The burden of proof in the civil case is preponderance of the evidence, which is lower than beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, we talked about those two standards before, and in the American judicial system, preponderance of the evidence is best understood as being a little bit more than 50%. Excuse me. Now, in when we're talking about beyond a reasonable doubt, that standard is very high. It's the highest in the American judicial system. It means probably about somewhere between 90 and 95%. All right, that you must have, your evidence must prove at least to 90 to 95% that there is, this person committed this crime. All right. It says to establish an action for civil theft, the claimant must prove the statutory elements of theft as well as criminal intent. All right. The elements typically include the unlawful taking of property, the intent to deprive the owner of their right to or benefit from the property, and the appropriation of the property to the defendant's own use or to the use of a person not entitled to the property. All right, give me 1 second here, guys. All right, we're going to pause this for 1 second. Let me make this quick call. Okay, back to it, guys. As we were saying, to establish action for civil theft. All right, we have the elements here. All right, in Polk County, there have been recent high-profile cases involving civil theft. For example, an attorney named Jason Penrod was recently arrested for stealing more than $1.7 million from his client's trust account and gambling it away. All right, let's get into this and let's listen to what happened in this case.
And this is the attorney. His name is Jason Penrod. He's 47.
Now, what I will say that this sheriff here, he put on a perfect example of how you go about doing a closing argument once you have proved all the elements of your crime and you want to just summarize everything for a jury. Listen to how he lays this out. He needs to go to law school. He might have went to law school for all I know. This is Sheriff Grady Judd.
7 years of age. The two complaints that we received on July the 25th and July the 29th are still under investigation. We are waiting for bank records to come back. On August 2nd, there was a complaint filed with the Pennsylvania State Police that Jason Penrod had ripped off some folks. And the folks that he ripped off, the victims, was a brother and a sister who had a trust from their now deceased father. In fact, Jason Penrod flew to Pennsylvania to look the trustees in the eye.
All right, so think about the nature of what he's saying. This attorney went out of state to go seek out these people and to lie to them about this money that he stole. Well, actually, he's going to tell her he went up there to promise that he's going to pay back the money. But let's listen to this. This is, I hate this for this guy, because once again, if you do decide to go to law school, to work your hardest to try to graduate and you pass the bar, which is not easy, all right? I don't want to be known as a person to try to hide the ball from anyone. This field is intensive, all right? It's not easy. And once you achieve the ability to become a lawyer, you don't want to put your license in jeopardy over something silly, all right? Stealing will get your law license taken away every day of the week in all 50 states, all right? That's hands down going to happen. All right, let's listen to what he says. I'll rewind it back a little bit and we'll start up again.
Trust from their now deceased father. In fact, Jason Penrod flew to Pennsylvania to look the trustees in the eye and say, I took your money. Not only did I take your money, I took $1.7 million. I wiped out the trust.
It's crazy. That's
but
so
I'm
much.
going to pay it back. You see, I had a problem. I had this raging addiction. It was at Hard Rock.
Just look at how he sets this up, man. He set it up so perfectly. He has these nice photos on this thick presentation type board. Has one of the Hard Rock Cafe Hotel and Casino.
I was a gambler. Then he said, I just gambled and gambled and gambled. He said, this compulsion overcame me. He says, I self-justified it that, I'm going to pay it back with interest. I'm just borrowing it as a short-term loan. A temporary loan. And then he went with his excuses. I have these repressed memories. I have PTSD. I have trauma. I have numbness. I have stress.
Okay, so listen to what he's saying. This is the officer. So he's not an attorney, but he's laying out a pretty good case here, okay? So listen to what he's saying. He's saying that this lawyer here tried to tell these people, after he took their money, $1.7 million worth of their money, that he has all these issues. He's trying to argue his case in the street. All right? Remember, we talk about this all the time. That's the worst place to argue your case, is in the street. No need to argue a case before you get it in court. Save your arguments for court.
He had it all. He had it all. So he went to an attorney, and then he ran to Marion County to hide out in a facility. As the investigation's going on, we're working hand in glove with the state attorney's office, and we find out that, potentially there's at least 2 more victims, okay, up to 4, and another $2 million that's missing. So we're up to $4 million.
$4 million. Are you hearing this, guys? That's crazy. Who in their right mind believes that they're going to pay back $4 million with interest when most people can't pay back the mortgage that they have? Okay? $4 million with interest.
Him today only with 1 count. It's an F1, it's a 30-year felony. This guy actually agreed to give up his law license.
Okay. All right, so here he agreed to give up his law license. All right. Once again, he's gone to school for years and years, and he's practiced only as an attorney. And he gave up his only means of making money. Now, not necessarily only means, but the profession. The profession is how he makes money. How are you going to pay back all of this money that was taken when you don't have a job? All right. You heard him say F1 felony. That simply means felony first degree there. See, first degree felony. And he just said it carries up to 30 years in prison. All right, F1 felony refers to a first degree felony. First degree felonies are serious crimes that carry significant penalties. You got a fine of up to $10,000, up to 30 years in prison. All right. That's a long time. And he has no law license anymore. All right.
And then he refiled and said, hey, if I give up my law license, then I can't make money to pay back, but I'll pay it back. This guy's delusional among all of his other excuses. Well, I can tell him what's going to happen. We are going to do our very best to send him to state prison for a very long time. He's not going to work it out. He not only drained their account, he drained his personal accounts. He's taken money away from his own family and children. The last we checked, he's got $36 left. But he's hiding in Marion County. Imagine his surprise when we told him, we've got a first-degree felony warrant for you, and you're going to the Marion County jail. He said, well, my lawyer was working that out with the state attorney. Newsflash. This is how we're working it out with the state attorney.
Newsflash? Oh my gosh, this guy is too much, man. This is how we're working it out. A warrant will be issued. You'll have to remain in jail or make a bond until your trial is over. And at that point in time, a jury will decide what happens. All right, let's look at where Marion County is. It says this is in north central region of Florida. Has a grand total population for this county of 375,000 people. Ocala is the county seat. All right. It's quite big. Okay. Let's let the sheriff cook, because he's definitely cooking.
Investigation is needed to get to the bottom of this. But I want to focus for just a second. Among the things he tells the people, and you'll get a copy of the letter if you don't have it already, that he sent to the victims in Pennsylvania, was he considered suing the Hard Rock for letting him gamble there. Now you tell me that guy doesn't have a hitch in his giddy up. He's got about 5 brain cells, and 3 of them he left at Hard Rock. And now he's locked up and he's going to prison. That's our goal. But I want to focus on him for just a minute. I want you to look at this guy. This is the guy. One of the cases that's under investigation. The lady's 93 years of age. In 7 months.
Okay. So listen to how he's crafting and once again, this is just a press conference letting the public know at large that they have arrested someone. He's innocent until proven guilty. He has an opportunity to go to trial, either a jury trial or a bench trial. Now, in most states, a bench trial is not guaranteed, but you are guaranteed a jury trial. The reason there's a difference is simply because the Constitution didn't opportunity for a. All right, I don't want you to cut on. I want you over there somewhere. All right. All right, so they just answered an affirmative. Basically, why I know this is simply because a bench trial is not guaranteed in Arkansas. It wasn't guaranteed in Alabama. It's not a part of the Constitution itself. You're guaranteed a jury of your peers, 12, and for a criminal case. In Florida, a bench trial or a trial by judge is not guaranteed. While a defendant can waive their right to a jury trial and request a bench trial, this request can be denied by the judge or objected to by the prosecutor. All right, here in my home state, the prosecutor has to assent, which means has to agree to a bench trial before one will be accepted. All right. This, if either the judge or the prosecutor does not agree to a bench trial, the case will proceed with a jury trial. The right to a jury trial is protected under both the United States Constitution and the Florida Constitution. All right. And let me give you a quick hint. No matter what state you're in, every state has the same guarantees as the United States Constitution, okay? And they most of the time will have more guarantees than the United States Constitution, but you'll at least have the bare minimum. All right, so if in the Constitution you are guaranteed a jury trial, under your state constitution, you'll be guaranteed at least the same thing. All right, so you have the Sixth Amendment, Section 22, or Article 1, Section 22 of the Florida Constitution, both ensure the right to a trial by jury in criminal cases. However, that right can be waived by the defendant, but the waiver must be accepted by the court and the prosecution. All right, let's jump back in. 93-year-old victim. He's trying to tell you about the victim. At the Hard Rock. All right. When he says that, all right, a reputable licensed attorney, I always talk about taking your issues to an attorney, a professional who's versed with dealing with the laws and your issues. All right. Let me stop here and let's have just a short conversation that don't set aside your common sense. All right, if you're about to go into someone's office and deal with them and bring in thousands of dollars of your hard-earned money for them to work on your behalf, you might want to ask around. Ask other people, how is this person as an attorney? All right, I'm about to give them my last couple dollars. I don't want to be gypped. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with verifying if a person is who they say they are. All right. Remember, trust but verify. Ronald Reagan. That still applies. All right. You can trust that somebody has a license and that they may be good, but verify it. Ask around. Use the internet. Look and see if somebody's giving them bad reviews. Look and see if there's some bad things people are saying that this person has done in the past, or their representation wasn't, up to snuff. That's okay. That's okay. All right. That's why everyone has the opportunity to give commentary on someone's work. All right. I hate that for these people that have lost their money. Lost their money due to somebody who's a bad gambler at that, right? Because if he was a good gambler, he would just paid the money back. He would have took those $4 million and won more money because he's good at gambling, and he would have paid everyone back. That didn't happen. Doesn't usually happen, okay? And it's because games of chance are not set up for you to win. You have to be extremely lucky to win. All right? Listen to him. For a person with common sense, this sheriff sounds, this is the type of person you want, all right, to represent you and to do a job for the public at large, all right? Listen to how he's talking about these certain professionals, lawyers, CPAs, doctors, these all have a very important responsibility in our society because everyone did not take those 3, 4, 8, 9 years out of their lives to learn these different things. And average people can't do these things on their own, okay? Though I come here and I'm trying to teach you some very small pieces of what my knowledge is, how to do some advanced legal research on things, there are many things that I can do that the average person cannot do. They didn't spend most of their lives trying to study these things and learn them. All right? When Michael Jordan plays, or when he played basketball, he made it look easy. All right? That comes from being a person who practiced at something time and time and time and time and time again to get great at it. Not saying that every attorney is going to be great, but they'll be better than a person who's never done it a day in their lives. Okay? All right, let's jump back in. Makes no sense. He's speaking. He's speaking that truth. Mm. Ooh, not the jailhouse flush. All right. Notice that he didn't mention what facility he was at. All right, and that's because it's not really the facility he's at that this person was apprehended at is not necessarily a bad guy. All right. Sometimes rehab facilities are needed. What he's saying is that he believes, and the state prosecutor's office believes, that he was using a tactic to try to delay his arrest or apprehension by going into a rehab program. All right? So that's all he's trying to say. He doesn't want to give the name of the facility. He doesn't want to badmouth that facility. He's also being a little bit, a little flippant by saying that, now we have him in our own facility that is a type of rehab. And he's tongue-in-cheek on what he's saying, but he's doing his work. He's doing what he was elected to do as the sheriff of that county, is to save people from a thief. Allegedly a thief. Now, he's already come out and admitted that he did this, and he surrendered his law license. And let's take a look at that. All right. I think he did. Look. All right. Jason Penrod, an attorney and owner of Family Elder Law Firm, has been involved in significant legal issues involving the misappropriation of client funds. We're going to look that up next. So, misappropriation of client funds. This is this is theft everywhere in every state. Okay, I've seen this. I've dealt with this in my own home jurisdiction. People who have misappropriated funds, and they are no longer practicing law anymore. Okay, so this does happen at times, and that's one of the first things when you're in law school and you're in your professional responsibility class, they harp on money being the downfall of every attorney, not every, but most of the attorneys who have lost their law licenses is due to the misappropriation of funds. Either it's the commingling of funds, client funds with your own personal funds, or it's the blatant theft of client funds. All right, we'll have that one. We'll look that one up when we get through reading this one. All right, so Penrod was arrested on charges of grand theft over $100,000 after it was discovered that he had stolen approximately $1.7 million of a client's trust fund and gambled away at the Seminole Hard Rock Casino in Tampa. Hence why Tampa news station picked this one up. $1.7 million. And remember, he's saying there's some more they're still investigating, and it's $4 million now. In response to allegations and his arrest, Penrod filed a petition with the Florida Supreme Court on August the 8th, 2024, requesting the disciplinary revocation of his law license. All right. So I'll tell you what. He did this. All right. He requested that his license be taken away so he can potentially stay out of prison. Okay? It's not going to work that way. This petition acknowledges his misuse of client funds and seeks to address the disciplinary charges pending against him. Penrod has also agreed to reimburse the client security fund for any claims resulting from his misconduct and to cover court costs related to the disciplinary matter. The petition for disciplinary revocation is still pending, so they have not answered it yet. And it remains to be seen whether the Florida Supreme Court will grant his request. If the petition is granted, he will have the opportunity to seek reinstatement to the Florida bar after the time period set by the court, provided he can demonstrate sufficient rehabilitation. Let's go to this and get any more information they have on it. Ooh, the court costs there are expensive. $1,250 for court costs? Whew. 47 years old. All right, here's a picture of his building here. Look at that. That's a nice sign. Family Elder Law, a firm helping seniors. Senior citizens, I'll say, are usually one of the most seniors and children, small children, are some of the most preyed upon sectors of the public, okay? Senior citizens usually have funds that people try to take away from them through schemes and things of that nature. Now, with this whole story, you have an attorney who is seeking to take away funds from the elder community. All right, that's ridiculous. All right, let's get back to it. Let's let him finish up. It's only about, maybe 5 minutes left. All right. So, and you can understand why anyone would be angry, but especially a gentleman of his age, because I'm sure he's thinking about, what if someone did the same thing to me? Okay. And let's talk for a second here. That brings up a perfect point. When you go to trial, there's a thing called the golden rule in jury trials, and that's basically when you can't encourage the jury to put themselves in the shoes of the victim, but you can get around that by asking them to put a loved one in the shoes of the victim. And how would that make you feel? Okay? Let's see what it says about the golden rule in jury trials. And this is a hard one to deal with, because as people, that's how we relate and understand and have experiences, by putting ourselves in the shoes of the wronged individual. The golden rule argument is a term used in jury trials to describe a specific type of argument made by an attorney. This argument asks jurors to put themselves in the place of one of the parties involved in the case, often the victim or the injured person, and to deliver a verdict that they would wish to receive if they were in that person's position. The golden rule argument is an appeal to the jury to consider how they would feel, or what they would want, if they were in the same situation as the plaintiff or the defendant. This type of argument is often used to evoke empathy and persuade the jury to award a favorable verdict. All right, one of the key jury instructions that always happens in every jury trial in my home jurisdiction, and I would guess in every jury trial everywhere else, because it comes from the model jury instructions, is that members of the jury have to be informed of their duties to put aside any prejudice for or against the party, all right, or any biases that they may have, whether they be ones that they are aware of, or the ones that they may not be aware of. All right, and we talk about these during jury trials at length All right, so that the jurors understand that there are certain rules at play here. Usage. All right. This argument is commonly used in personal injury cases where the plaintiff's attorney might ask a jury to imagine themselves suffering the same injuries or losses as the plaintiff and to consider what compensation they would expect in such a same situation. Controversy. The use of the golden rule argument is controversial because it can lead to biased decision making. Jurors may base their verdict on personal feelings or hypothetical scenarios rather than on the evidence presented in trial. This can result in unfair or inconsistent outcomes. All right. While the golden rule argument is not illegal, it's generally considered improper for attorneys to ask jurors to place themselves in the shoes of a party during closing arguments. Courts have held that such arguments can lead to a reversible error if they are found to have influenced the jury's decision-making process. All right, you see that? This is one thing you don't want to have happen, reversible error. It means that it will go up on appeal, and then they will bring it back. They will send it back and say you have to do it all over again. All right? All right, so if you have access to millions of dollars, whether they're yours or not, when do you stop? Are you playing like it's a video game with unlimited continues or something? Unlimited lives? Because I couldn't see myself losing $50,000 in the Hard Rock Cafe. But I'm not a person that's really, I don't really gamble much, because I don't, it's too easy. I see the money leave too quickly, and I like to spend my own money. So, but to lose millions at one place, that's ridiculous, man. Okay. All right. Those are the key words, okay? Instead of just saying and talking about a person needing a jail cell, what does it represent overall? Okay? Jails represent accountability. All right? If a person takes a plea and it carries a jail sentence, that shows that a person is willing to take responsibility for their actions and the punishments that the actions have brought about. Sometimes a person doesn't want to take responsibility, but yet they still may need to go visit a prison or a jail. He's cooking, man. Nope. That's true. Four open investigations, including that one. Three others. All right. So, as you see, that's that's absolutely ridiculous. That amount of money. Mm, mm, mm. I don't know what to say and what to call it. That's someone may wonder. Well, Professor Ross, have you actually dealt with this before? Yes, I have. I've seen this happen in my jurisdiction. Hypothetically speaking, no names, but just the issue and the problem. There was an attorney who stole some clients' money, and then when it came to light, they claimed that someone broke into their house and stole the money out of their safe. About 60 something thousand dollars. Now that wasn't the grand total of all the money that was stolen between all of the individuals, but they said they had about 60,000 in their safe at their house that someone stole. Now, that person ended up gaining several convictions and had to go deal with that. But this happens. That's the key thing. And here, let's do this. Let's go into a little bit of overtime here, especially since the Razorbacks lost today. All right, Florida bar suspensions. Where can I find them at? Let's go look here. No, that's not it. I want to see if I can find. All right, we go to the Florida bar. Supreme Court disciplines 5 attorneys. All right, and look, they have the summaries here. All right, I want to see if this is like my state. My state does the same thing. All right, when an attorney loses their license, or where they've been reprimanded, their license has been suspended, or the license has been revoked. There's a difference between suspensions and revoke. Revoke means you're not getting it back. Suspension means it's just gone for a certain period of time. All right. Look, they have where you can actually go in here and you can look at different attorneys' discipline. Wherever state you have, you see the search that I put in when I was looking for this information. I just put the name of the state, bar, suspensions. Put that in your search and see can you pull back the actual bar itself. and you can go in here, you can look at who has been disciplined. They'll have a way where a person can file a complaint against an attorney also, all right? Talk about the process here, different documents. Look, you can even file against someone who's practicing law without a license. Okay, interesting. Let's see here. You can also go here to hire an attorney. All sorts of things. Let's see if we can get back to... All right, court orders are not final until time expires to file a rehearing motion if filed determined. Look, disbarred. Effective immediately for August 1st. All right, here's somebody from Clearwater suspended. From Miami, suspended 180 days. And then they'll be on probation for 2 years once they get their license back. All right, Larry Edwards Powers, emergency suspended until further order. Okay, can accept no new clients from the day of August the 14th. Disciplinary revocation with leave to reapply for readmission effective 30 days following August 22nd court order. Admitted to practice in 2012. Woods was indicted on 4 counts of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and other charges arising from a role in a wide-ranging COVID-19 relief fraud scheme. Found guilty by a jury of conspiracy. All right, look, this is another one, misappropriating client funds. All right, misrepresented to complainant that the landlord-tenant lawsuit was filed when it was not. All right, this is another big one. This one happens quite a bit here in my home jurisdiction. If an attorney tells you that they've done something but they have not done it, and we're talking about something serious, like they file a lawsuit when they had not filed a lawsuit. Why this is a big issue is because if the lawsuit was not filed, then a person could lose the ability to file a lawsuit altogether. All right, and that would be a tragedy if it's a serious lawsuit, and most lawsuits are very serious. All right, somebody failed to file a response and were suspended. Continuing practicing law after suspension. All right, these are serious, you know. And once again, your law license is what you are going to determine to be your profession. All right, once you receive that law license, you know, that's how you're going to make money. Look, disbarred lawyers may reapply for admission. They cannot reapply until 5 years have passed. That's a long time to not be without your profession, you know. And just imagine how far behind you may become on how things work in 5 years. Look, there's 112 members of the Florida Bar. 112,000 members. That's a lot of attorneys. Okay. All right. So with that, this was another lecture from Advocacy Alchemy with Professor Ross. I am Professor Ross. How you like that logo? It's such a neat logo. All right. I am Professor Ross. Thank you for listening. We will put up some more videos in the very near future. And I saw this morning, and you know, now it's the afternoon here. And I said, well, let me make a quick video. I'll just do it from VR. And that way, I don't have to set up everything, and I can just edit this video later on in Final Cut. But with that, I want you all to have a good weekend. Have a good rest of your day. And remember, the street is never a good place to argue your case. If you have an issue, a legal issue, don't be afraid to hire an attorney. But remember, ask around. Ask around for who's good, who actually did a very good job representing someone else. All right, and take note. All right, everyone, you all have a good evening.